welcome to Groove Diner After Dark. What a great night. It's Monday, the start of a new week. That's not really how that works, is it? Thank you for being up late with us. Of course, we always are glad to have you with us. Tonight's guest this is going to be so fun. You're going to love tonight's guest. What a fun time we had doing her interview. Just so much fun. You know, it's funny because in the interview process, when we're talking with people, a lot of things come up off camera, right? And one of the things we were talking about was kind of necessity being the mother of invention. And that sent me down the road of what are some of the most important inventions in history? Well, clearly the wheel, transportation, the wheel. What could we do in society without it? Not much, right? So with the wheel, we were able to completely transform our world from carrying heavy things from point A to point B and doing it with great ease. Possibly the single most important invention in history, possibly. Some have said the cell phone is an incredibly important, maybe the most important invention of the 20th century. You know, was it? I don't know, but it's an incredibly important communication device. Certainly the printing press, that's another one. Getting information from place to place exactly as it was meant to be, having it written, having it come straight from the author to the reader, and having the intent of the piece become something that is so much more specific and understood. It really changed the way things were done. Yeah, the Gutenberg Bible, of course, being the most famous of the early printed books. That in and of itself, having that finally codified and written down was an amazing thing. I would postulate, that's right, I said a big word, that perhaps the vinyl record is every bit as important. Vinyl records, if you think about it, were really the first time in history that music could go from composer to audience in the exact way that the composer wanted it to be heard. Obviously, from composer to singer-songwriters in Nashville today, vinyl records became the media for the masses. Yeah, there were some earlier attempts at recording music. Wax cylinders come to mind. But wax cylinders, of course, were pretty fragile and difficult to transport. They would melt, all kinds of problems with them. And really, you couldn't get but a few plays out of them before the quality level started to deteriorate. Vinyl comes along, and wow, all of a sudden, we have a completely amazing way to listen to music that sounds like the composer wanted it to. Think about it. Would rock and roll have ever happened without vinyl? Probably not. Jazz without vinyl? Maybe, because it was, a little more clubby. Maybe. But without vinyl records, what I do for a living, and so many of us do for a living now in my industry, it just couldn't have happened. So thank you to the vinyl record people. It's a fairly amazing invention, and I just want you to think about its place in history. I love that there is now a resurgence of vinyl. It's an important thing, I think, to have physical copies of music. It really matters. It's great to download things, not on Spotify. It's great to download things. It's great to stream things, not on Spotify. Did I mention not on Spotify? But having a physical copy of it, yeah, that's the way to go. So anyway, think about that just a bit. It just kind of crossed my mind, and I thought I'd talk to you about it a little bit tonight. Tonight's guest, Bonnie Gordon. Like I said, you're going to absolutely love it. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.
Smash the like and subscribe button.
Thanks,
Smash
Eli.
it.
That's Eli. Hey, everybody say hi to Eli back there. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll know when we're here. Going to be some things coming up. We'll talk about it at the end. Stick around at the end. There are going to be some announcements regarding the next few weeks that you're going to want to hear. So do not leave us hanging. We're going to look forward to seeing you then. And we'll be right back after this. This episode of Groove Diner After Dark is brought to you by Groove Diner After Dark, the store. That's right, starting with tonight's episode, you can tell the world of your love for Groove Diner After Dark by owning official Groove Diner After Dark merchandise. Coffee mugs, t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, a pint glass, stickers, and much more can be yours today. Simply go to GrooveDinerAfterDark.com or click the link in this video description and get your gear today. Thank you for your support. Hey, first let me say thanks to everybody for joining us around the world tonight. I see Veronica's here. Thanks for joining us from Brisbane, Australia. You're always here week after week, and I love seeing you here. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. Reggie from Paris, Texas. How are things there? Good coffee in Paris, Texas. I know because Reggie sent me some once. Good stuff there. Dwayne Howard. Hi, Lola's dad. Yes, I am, in fact, Lola's dad. You're exactly right. Good to see you, Dwayne. How you been, man? Jess Hawkins. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you so much. I'm seeing quite a few people on YouTube tonight. We're really glad to have everybody over there. Reggie's saying drumsticks were an important invention. He's probably right. Charles Anderson, hello there from South Africa. It's good to have you with us tonight. And Chip, hello. I'm assuming that's Chip C. And you're in Georgia. Very nice to have you here. I love the community that we have put together here. People that are supporting each other and helping each other and hanging out and chatting. It's really pretty awesome. Thanks a ton for that. Tonight's guest, we're going to get into the interview pretty quickly here because we did about 50 minutes, and you're going to love every minute of it, I think. Bonnie was and is an amazing singer. We are working on her record. I am, in fact, producing her record right now. It's been an awful lot of fun getting to know her. Her IMDb credits are crazy. We're going to talk about that in the interview. And you're going to really enjoy getting to know her quite a bit here. So with that said, and without further ado, let's take a listen to me and Bonnie having a little chat. Roll that thing. Welcome to Groove Diner After Dark. Tonight is kind of a cool night for me because I've been working with tonight's guest for a couple of months now, right? On her new album that's upcoming. We're going to talk about that here in a few minutes. But I conned her into being my guest tonight. Thank you. You'll know why we're laughing at that in a minute. I conned her into being my guest tonight, so I'm really glad to have her with me. And we're going to talk about an exciting, exceptional career that you may not have heard of. People call me the invisible rock star. She's the invisible star.
Aw,
but we're about to make her less invisible for sure. So, please help me welcome Bonnie Gordon.
Confetti and t-shirt gun.
All of that. The t-shirt gun. That'd be such a cool thing to do, like at the Staples Center.
Yeah, or just like right here.
I
Just
know.
like right at your guest.
I don't know if I can handle that.
I don't think. Maybe workshop that.
Yeah,
when I'm not here.
Yes, seriously. Wow. Well, thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you
I really
for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
Yeah, of course. We have been recording today.
I know.
Working on your record. Why don't we start there? Let's start with talking about your record. Tell everybody, tell me, because I'm producing it. I'm not playing drums on it. I'm producing her record, which has been really fun. So tell us a little bit about the album. Tell me where it came from, etc.
Sure.
Et
So a lot of people know me musically for like in the comedy nerd parody scene because I'm in a band there, and then I also sing with a couple bands around LA. I do a lot of like classic rock and pop,
right.
But this album has always been about kind of like getting back to my roots of what makes me me.
Mm-hmm.
I was born and raised in Louisiana, so I love blues and jazz,
right.
and I think like blues and jazz I think is like the most. I love the way it sounds on my voice. I love the way it feels.
Absolutely.
And it's just the most. I have the most fun singing it. It's the most free, in my opinion.
Right.
And so I wanted to go that route. And I have so much original music that I've just been sitting on for years. And so it's just kind of time with COVID happening, and so many people finding joy in like other people's art and like helping it get by. I was like, you know what? Like, I think it's time for people to actually hear that I can write music that's not about, The Hobbit or,
right.
Or like a comic book. So it was just kind of even though I digress, I mean, it's still slightly nerdy. And considering my album is all about what makes me me, it is kind of nerdy.
Well, that's the great part of it.
Yeah.
That's ultimately why you wanted to work with me.
It's why you've conned me here, because the title of the album is Con Artist.
Exactly.
Which is one of the title songs of the album. And, it's all about, like, being in love with a criminal, Bonnie and Clyde. Very like, ooh, yeah, he's a quick John son of a gun. But I'm actually speaking about an artist at Comic-Con, an Artist Alley. But honestly, you wouldn't know unless I told you the twist.
Well, in fact, I didn't know.
Yeah, most people who hear it don't know that it's about a Comic-Con artist.
No way.
They think I'm singing about a criminal, and they're like, oh, Bonnie, that's so dark. And I'm like, listen to it again.
It's dark, but it's not. I mean, musically, it's so strong. I'm really enjoying this record a lot. The originals are all incredibly strong. One thing about it that I'm curious about, though, is how you chose the cover songs that are on it, because there are what, 3 covers?
There's I think there's 4 or 5, depending on my mechanical licensing
Right,
powers.
right.
Let's see how much they cost me first. But
You don't have to give away too much, but
no, it's fine. I mean,
okay.
I've given it away. I've given most
Okay.
of the tracks away on like the
Right,
Kickstarter and
right.
stuff. So if you were a part of the Kickstarter or go to BackerKit, you too can be a part of the journey.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to do cover songs that were reflective of me, and again, made me who I am.
Of course.
So I picked songs of different types of fandoms that were important to me. For example, The Princess Bride is my favorite movie of all time and book. And I chose to do a duet of Storybook Love from The
Right.
Princess Bride.
Of course.
I'm doing a song from The Muppets. I'm doing Kermit's It's Not Easy Being Green.
It's so cool the way you're doing it.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, well, it kind of changing up a little bit. But
Yeah.
then I also, it was hard because I really wanted to do Rainbow Connection, but I know it's so overdone. I kind of wanted to do something a little different.
Right.
I'm doing a Star Trek medley, since Star Trek's such a big part of my life,
Indeed.
and I wanted to represent my Trekkies out there.
Absolutely. Are they
and
Trekkies or Trekkers?
Trekkies.
I'm hearing the Trekkers
Get out.
thing.
No.
What's the difference?
Yours is wrong.
Oh, fair enough. Hey, I'm good with that. I've always considered myself a Trekkie, so I heard Trekker and I'm
just
like,
a Trekkie.
okay.
Trekker just sounds like you're gonna go like on a drive
I'm with you. Absolutely.
down
yeah.
and like you just can't pronounce the words right, but it's fine. I do love animation and cartoons and whatnot as well,
Yeah.
and being a redhead with certain assets,
Right.
gifts.
Right.
I get a lot of like Jessica Rabbit
Of course,
references, so I'm
yes.
doing the song from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Jessica Rabbit song.
Right.
Why Don't You Do Right? So there's just a lot of fun songs on there that like anyone can really listen to and enjoy.
Right.
And then the originals, some of them are more serious, some of them are more kind of fun, tongue in
Right.
cheek. I have a song about ADHD.
You do.
Considering that if you can hear my rambling and my leg in the camera twitching, I have it. So it's kind of like my ode to ADHD, like 4 letters of
Right.
evil.
You know what I like is that none of it's not random in any way. Every
Yeah.
song has a very specific purpose and the reason behind it. I love knowing those reasons behind them.
Yeah.
So I think, if people do pick this album up, and they should, and you should. Yeah, whoever we're looking, whether it's me or her.
We're both looking.
There,
We're
yeah.
looking. Where do I look?
We
Buy
definitely
the album.
buy the album.
Yeah.
You're definitely going to need it. We're looking at midsummer,
Yeah.
Release?
Beginning midsummer release.
Yeah.
Hoping.
June-ish, July.
Yeah. Yeah.
early-
You're the producer.
I guess I
You
am.
Tell me.
Yeah, there is that. We're looking at it. We're looking at a summertime release.
Good
on
job.
this,
Yeah.
So definitely we'll make sure you're going to have physical CDs.
Yes.
As well
and,
as
it'll be up on all kinds of like Bandcamp, iTunes. I'll try and put it everywhere.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool.
You get a con. You get a con.
Yeah,
You
right?
get a con.
Oh man, that's so funny. You mentioned the cover bands,
Mm-hmm.
Library Bards. You guys had some success.
Yeah, so one of my really good friends, Xander Jeanneray, he and I were both huge nerds,
Right.
obviously, and we started a band called the Library Bards, and we travel all over the world to different Comic-Cons and nerd pop culture events, and we do parodies. So, it's very much in the vein of Weird Al,
Of course.
but it's all nerdy. So we have songs about Star Wars, Star Trek,
Hey.
Stanley.
There's nothing nerdy about Star Wars.
No, of course not. Of course not. Of course not. Oh, that's no moon. But no, The Hobbit, Princess
Right.
Bride, Power Rangers, Sailor Moon. I mean, we have songs about everything. Jurassic Park, you name
Sure.
it, we sing about it.
Sure.
Firefly. So any kind
So
of nerdy
good.
fandom that we can.
You have a Firefly?
Yeah, we have a Firefly. It's just sticks, come sail away.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's fantastic, right?
Yeah.
Even Eli liked that one.
Yeah, like all right, one of us, one of us.
He
Yeah,
totally is one
but
of
and
us.
that's what's so fun is I got to, we would have songs that I would like. Oh, my voice sounds good on this song. We need to figure out what to parody, and then we would write something to it, or we'd be like, oh, we really need to figure out a song for this fandom, and then we'd like be out for like a friend's birthday at a bar or something, and then our song would come on the radio, and we would both have like that light bulb moment of
Right.
right. And so that's how we kind of got
love
started,
that.
and we get to travel all over the world and sing for nerds. I mean, what more can you
It's
want?
so great,
We
right?
have music videos up on YouTube,
Right.
and it's so much fun. And
Yeah.
being in Hollywood, and being in entertainment, it's like you're never quite sure what Hollywood's looking for or what they want. If you're like the right look, the right size, the right this, the right that, yada yada.
Right.
So for us, it was more of a if you're not going to cast us anything, we're going to create our own stuff. So
Right.
that's kind of how the Library Bards came to be. Let's create our own
I think
nerd
that's
stuff.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And if you can't tell, she's genuinely a nerd lover. and quite honestly,
That sounds. Wait a minute.
no, well,
Phrasing.
she came in to do some background vocals on a different project that I was producing, and we just clicked.
Yeah.
Really quickly.
It's why I chose you to record my album. I walked in and saw the Death Star and the X-wings hanging on the walls, and I was just kind of like, and like the purple, and then the wall, it looks like a spaceship. So I was just kind of like, well, I'm gonna record here, obviously.
Exactly.
Obviously, this is where I want my booth selfies to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a highly creative environment.
It is.
It is.
And it's fun and free. And for those of you who don't know, working with Buddy is so great because working with you, working with Buddy, is so great because you're very like relaxed about it, and the way we're working, it's not like, okay, go. Okay, oh, you don't get that take, sorry.
No.
We'll work with what we got. It's like you really want me to be happy with the product.
I absolutely do.
Yeah, it's great, and there's not a lot of pressure.
No.
So,
well, thank you for saying
as someone who's always like feeling guilty for no reason, thank you. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm apologizing.
What is this going on?
I'm sorry for apologizing. Oh no.
Oh, well, on that note, speaking
Yeah.
of high pressure situations,
Oh.
I went through your IMDb page. 67 credits. That's a lot of work. 67 acting credits, and the bulk of them are voiceovers,
Awesome.
voice actor
cool.
stuff.
I should probably look at my.
Well, yeah,
I'm like,
I know.
wait, really?
I had no idea.
I had no
that you
idea
had
either.
that- yeah.
I didn't know. I mean, like, I think maybe some are multiple though. Like
No, this
like-
was 67 individual show
Really?
credits. Yeah, plus the episodes underneath. So I'm
Oh,
saying,
okay,
right?
okay. Well, then, yay me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
I was fascinated by a couple of things that I read. I want to know the story of your grandfather and band of brothers.
Oh yeah. So my grandfather, I called him Sweet Papa,
Oh, I love that.
but he's known as Walter Scott Gordon,
Okay.
Smokey, and they called him that. And he was in the Band of Brothers. He was in Easy Company.
Like the real one.
In fact, someone like played him
Right.
in the miniseries.
Don't
actor
blow that off. Actually,
Ben
tell
Ben
that.
Kaplan,
Okay.
yeah. But what's so amazing is he was a really big part of the book. Like if you read the Band of Brothers book, he's definitely more in there, and it's just so cool flipping through the pictures and like knowing that that's my grandfather. Like holding, like just in the picture. They called him Smokey because he would smoke a pipe.
Nice.
There's so many funny stories. He was quite like a prankster and like a trickster. He would always get into trouble. I know there's
That's where you get it.
probably. I mean, and I'm one of the grandchildren that actually remembers him
Oh, sure.
because he was still alive when I was young.
Gotcha.
So he would pull pranks on me all the
Nice.
time, and yeah, and so it's just really sweet. Like I don't know, obviously, if you believe in things
Yeah.
past the norm,
Right.
but there was one time where just like for fun I had like a psychic reading.
Yeah.
It's just like I was just like why
Why
not?
not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really hit me. And the guy had like no idea who I was,
Right.
and he was like, I keep seeing Smokey, like Smokey the Bear, and I was like, what? And he goes, he was like, this probably doesn't make any sense because how he says he sees things in like pictures when he
Okay.
sees visions and stuff. And he says Smokey's looking after you, and he says you have to be brave like Smokey. And he was like, I have no idea what that means, and I'm like, I do. And I was like, whoa, it was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
So that's always stuck with me.
That
So
is
anytime I'm like
deep.
feeling like scared or just
Yeah.
like uncertain, I'm gonna be brave like Smokey, like my
Wow.
sweet papa. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. How does a girl from Louisiana?
Woo wee.
Yeah. She's my neighbor.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm your bayou neighbor.
Yeah, right. How does a girl from Mississippi decide she wants to move to Hollywood and take it on and, my goodness, have some serious success?
Well, Louisiana first off. You
What
said
did I say?
Mississippi.
My
just now.
apologies. Yeah.
That's okay.
Louisiana.
The other state. Your
Indeed,
other
yes,
neighbor.
yes. Sorry, my bad.
It's okay.
So, how does a girl from Louisiana make the big move to California?
It wasn't just right away.
Yeah.
I always knew I wanted to be in entertainment in some way.
Sure.
Didn't know how I was going to get there.
Well, you're one of the most entertaining people
Well,
I've ever
thank
met.
you.
Absolutely.
Oh, shucks.
Just hanging out.
Just give me like a coffee and I'm good to go.
Right.
Woohoo!
Oh my God. I
Yeah,
think that's a
I can
bad
talk for
idea.
hours.
Right.
Yeah. How long is the show? Are we going?
4.5 hours.
Great,
Yeah, we're
perfect.
good.
All right, all right. This is in chapter 1, Genesis. A star was born.
Yes.
So in Louisiana, I always I did like the community theater. You know, I was a theater major. I was an opera minor in college, and loved anything music and anything theater and anything performing. Like just like let me make people laugh, let me make you smile, let me bring you joy.
Right.
And when Hurricane Katrina hit, that was kind of like I could leave, you know,
really changed
because
things.
I auditioned for NYU. I got into NYU. I got into other colleges that were really prestigious theater schools, but couldn't afford it. And one of my things was like, I'm not gonna rack up student debt. I just don't, or student loans. And but when Katrina hit, I was still in Louisiana, and I was like, this is my time to go. It was just kind of like the state was gonna have to rebuild. They were pulling scholarships from the arts and from schools everywhere, and I was like, this might be my exit cue to like, this is the push out of the nest.
Sure.
And I ended up going to Florida because that's logical, and I worked for Disney at Disney World, and that was fun. Yeah, it was so much fun. And I was, I was like young. I didn't know. I was like, I'm in a theme park. This is great. And I'm just a big kid anyway.
Oh,
so,
no kidding,
I mean, I was going to be there anyway. Might as well get paid to be there.
Absolutely.
And then got cast in a show outside of Disney. They transferred me to the Vegas cast. So Tony and Tina's Wedding. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Well, only because you and I've talked about it. Yeah.
It's a dinner theater show. Super fun, interactive. There was a cast of it in New York City. There's casts everywhere of it. It's one of the most, it's like the longest running dinner theater show, I think, in the Guinness World Records. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Please don't research this. Maybe it used to be. I don't know. Something in the records of a book of a Guinness. Drink Guinness.
There it is.
Sponsor us, Guinness. Is this how it works? Is this how it snowballs?
So now immediately we have that Guinness sponsorship.
Yeah, so you're welcome.
Yeah, right. Thank you. I
This is how it works.
That. I could use the money.
In any case, it's a long-running dinner show, and I was in the Vegas cast, so I did shows in Vegas, was in Star Trek The Experience. I'd sang with like 3 or 4 bands out there. And then after living in Vegas for a little bit, I'm like, okay, now what? And you don't really know. Vegas is one of those amazing places to visit. It's a hard place to live.
Yeah, I couldn't even.
Kind of sucks your soul.
Couldn't even imagine living there.
And I mean, I look young, but Vegas ages you. I would probably look my actual age if I stayed in Vegas.
You're all haggard.
Yeah, I'd be like, hello.
Hi, I'm 28.
I'm 36 years old. You should have seen back in the day when I was 26. Yeah. Sorry. Then I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. So I was just like, I'm just going to pack up my car and move to Hollywood. Because why not?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how I lived my adult life, which is not great in the sense of, it's not recommended. I'm sure, I basically give my family a heart attack every time I just pack up my car and be like, where are you going to stay? I don't know. What are you going to work? I don't know. Like, yeah. So I just do it.
But that's what it takes, though.
That's what it takes.
I mean, you have to have that commitment level, and
you have
it's
to have
amazing
that drive
that you did.
and that slight level of insanity to make the jump.
Just the right amount to do that. I think that's fantastic.
The hustle.
That's kind of how I ended up out
hustle.
here too. Was you just make the decision and you pack and you go. Otherwise, you're going to talk yourself out of it because there's 1,000 reasons not to make the move.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but you got to find that one reason to make it, and your belief in yourself clearly was that.
My self-confidence is an optical illusion, but I will say this: one of the things that really got me was in high school. I had an amazing drama theater teacher, Ms. Broussard. Sandra Broussard, if you're watching, I love you.
Hello, Sandra.
Hi, Sandra.
Shout out to Sandra.
Sandra Broussard. I can't call her Sandra. I have to call her Ms. Broussard. Like it's so awkward. She's like, call me Sandra. I'm like, no, you're Miss Broussard forever.
Yep. Glenn Mena was that for me, and I could never call him Glenn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So she was very inspiring to me, and I remember after Katrina happened, and I had the opportunity to intern at Disney and do all these things. I called her because I was upset because my dad did not want me to go. No one wanted me to go. They were like,
of course.
Stay home and go stay in school and stay in school, kids. Don't do what I did. Oh gosh, this is a horrible interview. Can you fix this in post? I'm like giving the worst advice. Is there a post?
How about this? I stayed in school.
Okay. Do what Buddy did. Do the Buddy. WWBD. What would Buddy do? Buddy would stay in school.
But it could be WWBD. What would Bonnie do?
And that's
totally different.
All chaotic good.
Right. So
then it just becomes like D&D game where
Of
we're all
course,
in a
yes,
tavern
yes,
and you don't
yes.
want to go there, or you do.
maybe you do.
But speaking of ADHD, where were we? Oh, Miss Broussard. Hi,
Yes,
Miss
Miss
Broussard.
Broussard.
I called her and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't know what I should do. And she goes, when I was your age, I had a path to take of whether to like take that leap and try
Yep.
and pursue acting or pursue the arts. And instead I, settled down,
Right.
got married, had kids, became a teacher. She goes, I don't regret any of that. She obviously she loved her
Of course,
family and,
yeah.
and all that. But she goes, there's always in the back of your mind that what if. And she goes, I don't want you to look back 20 years from now and say, what if
Absolutely.
I went a different route? And so that really kind of spoke to me. And she said, school will always be there. Classes will always be there. You can go back to school at any age.
That's right.
But when are you going to have this opportunity to just fly? Like she kind of gave me that
I love Miss
push.
Broussard.
Miss Broussard's the best. Yeah.
That's
She's
fantastic advice.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too many people don't ever really explore the what if. And I think it's an incredibly important thing.
Yeah. And when it makes you so happy, it's like, why punish yourself? Like I love my family and I love
course.
Louisiana,
Of course.
and I could always go back home and be with them, but I know that there would be a lack of fulfillment
Absolutely.
in my soul, and there would be something missing.
Right.
Yeah.
Boy, do I understand that.
Yeah.
It's really hard when you leave a place though, because people that you leave behind sometimes feel like you're leaving them.
Right.
It's
Right.
not about moving forward in your own life. It's that you're doing something
Right.
that maybe they don't understand or don't agree with even. So how did you explain to your family, or were they?
Well, they still don't understand half
well,
the time. Yeah.
Nor does mine. Right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, some of my family
Some
do,
do, yeah,
and
some
yeah,
do.
yeah. But most of my family still don't understand.
Yeah.
They're still just like, "What are you doing out there?"
Yeah,
And,
oh,
like,
for
I don't
sure.
understand it.
Well, you tell them that you've got 67 IMDb credits.
Oh, to them that means nothing.
Well,
But
so here's what
that equals $67 in their
Fair
eyes,
enough.
and they're like, "Can you pay rent with that?" I'm like, "No," but I'm working on it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, so you've got a really great gig right now
yeah.
on Star Trek Prodigy.
Yeah, my Trekkies. Trekkies.
I just
Yeah,
was
I know.
asking. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So Star Trek Prodigy is,
Amazing.
I'm sure.
Oh, you wanted more.
I did.
Star Trek Prodigy is one of the new Star Trek shows that are out. It's on Paramount Plus. A lot of people, didn't want to give it a chance at first because it's considered a kid show because it's
Right.
animation.
Right.
But I promise you, like, just give it a couple episodes and you're gonna be blown away. It's not just a good, kid show. It's
Right.
not just a good show. It's a good Trek. It's really good Star Trek.
Nice.
And it has so many good Easter eggs for people who actually really love Star Trek.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
Janeway's in it. There's so many different cameos and
Right.
and things coming up. And then also, it's great for people who've never watched Star Trek at all because it's for kids who've never been exposed to Star Trek,
Right.
and they're learning with these young characters about Starfleet and about the Federation and about working together as a team and about like peace and throughout the galaxy and exploration and science, and it's a very intelligent show. It doesn't dumb it down
Love that.
for the children. And in fact, I almost wish they would, because half the time I'm like, what science? Like, this is a lot. There's like a time one, like, and I was
Oh,
like,
no kidding.
whoa, like, they're all in different like time planes, and I was like, kids
Right.
are gonna be like, what? But the fact that they don't dumb it down
Yeah.
makes it so much more special, and parents can watch it with their kids and
Sure.
get conversations going.
Talk
and
about it together.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and you learn lessons, and they have like a little video of Kate Mulgrew at the end
Oh, that's
saying like, this is the lesson that we've learned, and
That's cool.
it's so great. I
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
love everything about it.
The number of voiceover credits that you have is
Yeah.
kind of staggering, but I think of all the things that you do for a living, my favorite is professional gamer.
Professional TTRPG gamer, sir.
See, even
you have
more
to get
so,
the
I
letters
do,
right.
Yeah.
Tabletop role playing games.
Do I even dare ask how that became a thing for you?
You don't, and then we're gonna move on to the now. I'm again nerd, and always have been,
Fair.
always will be.
Yeah.
Wave that nerd flag.
Yeah, yeah.
I got into with the groups that I started hanging out with. I got into a lot of the geek scene, and got pulled on to guest on, it's funny because people just were like, oh, well, Bonnie's played D&D. Bonnie's done this. Bonnie's done that. And I'm kind of like, growing up on a bayou in Louisiana, there was no D&D. Like,
Right.
you want to talk about gatekeeping.
Yeah.
So I was like, yes, I've played. And I've just figured it out. And
Right.
but now I know how
Of
to
course,
play,
yeah.
obviously. But it's incredible because all it is, it's creating a character, it's role playing, it's improv, and that's what I love to do. And what I really love to do is create like characters and backstories.
Of course.
And I create some weird characters and backstories that I will like keep a secret of my character till like the end.
No kidding.
Till like 2 years down the line
Whoa.
of a game, and then finally reveal it, and all the players are like, "Are you kidding me?" And I was just like, "The game's about to end. Like the campaign's about to," and I had to reveal my Easter egg nugget.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
so
fantastic.
I just love it. It's so much fun,
Yeah.
and honestly, through the pandemic, it's been such a blessing.
No doubt.
I play a lot of different games through Twitch.
Right.
On most specifically on Q Times with the Stream Punks.
Okay.
And it's been such not only an escape for us, but escape for other people that were just stuck at home during a pandemic. It's like every week tuning in and being with friends.
Absolutely.
And watching your friends play and being part of a community and interacting with each other on the internet, like on Twitter. And
Right.
it's the Stream Punks, the people who watch our stuff, they're just probably one of the most amazing supportive groups of people.
Fantastic.
And so accepting of everyone.
Yeah.
Where like that's kind of like a big thing about my brand. I'm very anti-bully,
Right.
kind of acceptance of all, really big into the LGBTQIA
Right.
plus community. And I can't stand people who like don't accept others like
Right.
for who they are, for something as minimal as, obviously with everything in the world, there's like different hate,
Of
but
course,
like
yeah.
just accept everyone. Like love is love, and everyone just
I'm so
have fun
on
and
board with
be-
you on that. Absolutely.
like, especially at a gaming table where it's just you're just there to have fun
Absolutely.
and go on an adventure together, and everyone gets to go on it with us.
Well, your open personality is very much who you are. So,
Yes.
so I mean, you are this incredibly open human.
I'm a very open book. Sometimes too much so.
No, I don't think so.
Not to you. Some people find it uncomfortable.
Fair enough.
Good job,
Thanks.
buddy. You're one of the.
You know what?
You're
though?
one of the good ones.
You may not know this about me, but I'm quite an introvert.
Really?
Yeah, but I'm a social introvert. So I learned it was learned behavior for me to know how to interact with people, and then I can be at the NAMM show or whatever Comic Con and be great for 3 hours, and then I need to go sleep for 6 hours to
Then
recharge.
you need to recharge. Yeah.
So somebody like you, I feed off your energy.
Yeah, and I feed off of a lot
vampire?
as well. You're an energy vampire.
Yeah, right.
Way to
Okay,
go. Yeah.
thanks, It's not quite the same thing, is it?
No, but you'd fit right in on what we do in the shadows.
There you go.
There
See,
you go.
yeah, right.
Go hang out with Colin.
I should
Although
do that.
his energy sucking is a little different.
Fair enough.
That sounded dirty too.
But we know what you're talking about.
Sure.
The legendary pot roast.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that.
So again, I said earlier I sing with a few bands out here, and one of the bands I sing with is the legendary Pot Roast. It is a Meatloaf Jim Steinman tribute band.
Awesome.
Such an incredible group of people. And these past few years, even during COVID, we were still doing gigs. Like we did a couple gigs in like New York and Jersey, and we just did one a couple weeks ago at in Agora Hills, and we have a few coming up later this year.
That was at the Canyon Club? Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
That's a great
it's
venue.
a great venue. And it's just such a great group of people. Honestly, the musicians in that band are just so talented and so strong. In fact, a few of them are playing on my album.
Right, they
because
are, yeah.
I was just kind of like, how convenient.
Yeah,
Come with me
seriously.
to this cave, buddy.
Good players, for sure.
Yeah. And they're also just good people too.
Yeah.
It's good energy. So performing with them is just, I find so much joy. I love performing in general.
Sure.
And so being on a stage with people that also share in that joy, and like we can just look at each other and interact, and
Yeah.
if one of us makes a mistake, we just look at each other and go, keep going. We just have a good time.
Right.
And everyone, they're just so just a good group of people.
Non-musicians don't know just how much communication goes on between musicians on a stage. It's staggering. We can have full conversations.
Speaking of staggering, I've fallen on band members. We did a gig in New York last year, and I was we do choreography in it,
Sure.
and I'm backing up, like doing a cute little thing, and the monitor magically moved, obviously.
Of course,
since
yes, it
the
was not
rehearsal,
there. Yeah,
and it was
absolutely.
not there
No.
during tech. Of course not. And I just completely fell backwards
Right.
into the guitar player, knocked him over, knocked the music
I love
over.
that.
Poor thing, he was helping me up. I just got back up and kept going.
That's what you have
So
to do.
a lot of people in the audience thought it was a bit. They thought it was like a comedy bit because it was during like the Rocky Horror
Yeah, right.
like medley. So they all thought it was like, wow, that was such a funny
That's
little bit.
awesome.
And I was like,
Yes,
as I'm
yes, it
limping
was.
away,
Yes,
you
it
know,
was very
probably
funny.
bleeding from somewhere. I'm like, yes, it was such a great bit. Can't wait to
That's awesome.
bandage myself backstage.
That's awesome.
Oh boy.
I have a question
clumsy.
that I'd like to know.
Yeah.
So many people, again, who are not necessarily in the entertainment industry, don't understand how related all of the facets of entertainment are. Acting relates to music, relates to.
Definitely.
How has being a musician impacted your acting, and how has your acting impacted your musicianship?
Oh man, I actually have a really good answer for this because I
Well,
do.
it's about time.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just been ramble this,
I
ramble
know,
that.
I know.
Now I have
Finally,
focus.
we have an answer.
Focus. Because I do voiceovers.
Right.
Being a musician and a singer has been instrumental to that career. Knowing your instrument, knowing your voice. You know, if I'm doing like little kids and stuff, I'm going way up here and I gotta do all this kind of thing, but it's very melodic and I gotta go up and down. So it's like doing, you know, it's like singing.
Sure.
So, and because I do so many voices, it helps me with my tone, helps me making sure I'm not straining, making sure I'm breathing correctly. I do a lot of video games, so I do a lot of fighting games. I'm going to move away from the mic. But like if I do like a lot of like, ha, 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 ah, you know, and I can do stuff like that without hurting my voice because as a singer, I know like to push from here and not scream from there.
Sure. So a lot of technique comes from
a lot of technique
yeah.
comes from that I've used in music.
Yeah.
And in anime, we're doing a lot of dubbing where it's already the animation's already done. The Japanese voice has already been recorded.
Right.
Now we're doing it in English, and so everything's already done. They have the line for us, and we have the animation.
Sure.
We have to match the flap of the lips,
Right.
and that we have to also make it sound natural. Natural,
Right.
as natural as we can,
Right.
and fit it all in, and it's like a rhythm game because we're matching the matching of the, you know,
Right.
so we have to say the line within a certain amount of time.
Right.
So we have to focus on speed, focus on the beats, and it's like music.
It's like when I was doing Foley art.
Exactly,
Same kind of
it's like
thing.
Foley. Yeah.
My son's a big anime fan.
Oh yeah.
Big
yeah.
anime fan. So I need to know at least one anime that I can tell him you're on.
Oh yeah. One that came out not too long ago. It's Riho and Muho and oh gosh, it's a weird names. It's the Supernatural Bureau of Investigation.
Okay.
Muho and Roji.
Okay.
And Muho's
Roshi and
super. It's like they're like wizards and like witches
nice,
and they
okay.
know magic and they have to go and like get spirits like
Right.
exercise spirits and put them back into the afterworld. It's really cool.
I
It's
love
actually
it, actually,
it's
yeah.
a really cool anime.
Yeah.
I actually did voices on it and I was like, this is actually really cool. And I went and watched it when it
Right.
came out. I was like, this is fun.
This is awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
It's like dark Harry Potter. Yeah.
Well, Harry Potter's pretty dark anyway.
That's true, but-
Yeah, but not in the beginning.
No.
At
yeah.
all, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of all things magic, you work at the Magic Castle.
I do.
What do you do at the Magic Castle?
I can't say
I
what
know
I do
you
at the
can't
Magic
do- I
Castle.
know you
It's a
can't.
secret.
It is.
I do many things there though. I can talk about other things.
Let's talk about the other thing.
So the Magic Castle, for those of you who don't know, the
Yes.
Magic Castle is a magicians members only club in Hollywood. It's amazing, very fun place.
It's so fun.
It's so cool. It's been the building itself is over 100 years old. So I'm very lucky because not only am I an employee there, but I'm also a member and a performer. So I perform with a few magicians there when they need. Every week the shows change. So anytime you go throughout the year, you're going to see different magicians
Right.
and different shows.
And as a sidebar, she and I are sitting in the same room today because of a magician from
That's
the Magic Castle,
right.
Brian Oshap.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, she came in to sing on his project, and here we are.
Ta-da.
Several months later.
Do.
Indeed. So
Yeah.
continue.
But yeah, so one thing I do at the Magic Castle that's extremely fun is during Christmas time, during the holiday season, I'm their Mrs. Claus.
You're right.
Yeah, so I'm dressed up as an elder. I don't want to say old lady. That's so derogative. But no, and I'm Carol Claus, which is basically me just doing Carol Channing, dear. And I walk around with Santa. We hand out the candy canes and we talk to everyone, and it's wonderful. And everyone always asks my skin regime. So I'm
course they do.
I'm 1/3 elf, dear. And there's a doctor in Beverly Hills.
Excellent.
Santa may be old, but he's not dead, dear. I gotta look nice, you know. So yeah, it's a really fun job to like talk to people. And,
Yeah, sure.
oh, you'll like this. It's a music joke. A lot of people when they talk to Santa and Mrs. Claus, they think they're being clever and say, "Oh, I'm on the naughty list," and
Of
all
course,
that.
yes.
I'm like, "Oh, no, like I haven't heard that before."
Right.
You're on all kinds of lists.
Oh, your name's Buddy. I call my friends Buddy. Ha ha. Your name's Buddy. Ha ha.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, exactly. Just throw
Anyway,
an egg.
you were saying.
No, it's fine. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm on the naughty list. Like, am I getting coal in my stocking?"
Oh, yes.
First off, everyone, coal is a natural resource and it's very expensive now. We can't afford coal. That what do we expect to heat our lamps with and stuff?
Right.
However, all the naughty children get Nickelback CDs. So you're
That's
welcome.
cruel.
I know, but it's funny. And none of the kids, I say that joke to the kids, like, what if we get if we're naughty? And I say Nickelback City, and the kids just look at me like with a blank stare. But the parents behind them are cracking up, and I'm just like, you know what I'm talking.
Because they neither know.
It's not even a punishment for you, dear. It's a punishment for them. Yeah, because
they don't know Nickelback, nor do they know CDs.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They're like,
right.
what is that?
Yeah, that's
Look at this photograph.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my
so
goodness.
Mrs. Claus is fun.
That's
one
good.
of the jobs I do there. I love that place.
That's fantastic.
I sing a lot for their special events, their charity events, the AMA awards.
Right.
This past year I sang for their in memoriam. So little things like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure those are little.
Well, but
Yes.
I've kind of I've forced my way into becoming a staple.
You did, and you're
I
extremely
love them.
good at that, and I mean that in a good way. You have got that thing where you are really good at saying, I'm good at this thing, I'm going to go do it, and everybody else get out of my way. But you're like super.
But in a nice way.
Yeah, it's true. That's kind of what I was about to say. Is that
in a Hufflepuff way.
That's kind of true. You definitely are not pushing people aside to do it, but
they can come with me.
You've got laser focus on it.
Yeah.
And that's what I love, is that laser focus, because a question I always ask is if you were to give somebody, a little girl, say in Louisiana, some advice about coming out here and trying to get into the world of entertainment, what would the one thing be that you would say? It has to be one thing, because I know it's hard. We've got 1,000 things we could say.
Yeah, I
what
could make a
one
scroll.
thing would you tell them?
Well, funny you should say that. One of the songs on my album is basically that. It's a song I wrote to my younger self, of like watching my journey of just, I was an odd kid. I was bullied a lot. I was weird looking, weird acting.
Well, you grew out of that. So.
Well, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
But no, I just like seeing the journey that I've taken here. If I could just have someone go back and say this to me, it would probably help just enough. And the words is you're enough. Like, because everyone feels in their life, especially in this industry with imposter syndrome building, that I'm not talented enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not talented enough. And it builds and builds and builds, and you go down this shame spiral.
Yes.
And as a child, you get even more of that, because you're trying to find yourself, and you're so insecure, and you're trying to channel your energy and where to go, what to do, how, everything's so uncertain. And if I just had someone saying like, you're enough, just be you. And that's, I think, what people need to remember. Like, I try and always stay true to myself, because growing up, I didn't like myself very much.
Sure.
I didn't know how to turn myself off, though, and that was the problem.
Right.
And then as I got to love myself more, I was able to put more positive energy out there and like show the world, oh, no, like I'm worth watching, I'm worth listening to.
Sure.
And I belong here, type of thing.
Right.
And that was a long thing to say to get to you're enough. But
Right.
that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. I think that's incredibly good advice, and more than advice, maybe it's just a reassurance.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of us that are artistically minded people don't really know where our place is when we live in a place that perhaps doesn't embrace it.
Right.
And certainly my hometown, as much as I love some people there, it wasn't necessarily the most conducive to an artistic minded little boy.
Right.
So I'm sure that was the case for you.
Yeah, and it's because if when you're when you have like friends or family that they like that you like it, but they don't understand it, they
Absolutely.
don't get it. They're like, why do you keep doing this? Like you're in rehearsal all the time. You do this. You're like you work like 5 jobs and you do that. Like why do you do this?
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that when they do come to see me on stage, or when they see me, in something like this, like an interview like this, seeing me light up when I talk about it and what I love, that it starts to make sense to them. Like that's why she does it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. And some of my family don't get it at all, but they still like my Nana, she doesn't, but she keeps up with everything. Like if ever I need to know what's happening, I don't watch TMZ. I call my Nana. I'm like, all right, Nana, tell me what's happening in Hollywood, because you know more than I do now.
That's fantastic.
She's great.
That's awesome.
My Nana, she's probably watching this too.
Probably so.
Yeah, because my Nana is awesome.
That's fantastic. I love it.
Thanks, Nana.
I'm pretty sure my mom didn't realize what I did for a living until about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did a drum clinic in my hometown, and she couldn't figure out why people were in the room, and she was like,
why are they listening to you?
How much did you have to pay to do this?
And
I said, Mom, no, it's the other way around.
Yeah, exactly.
What? And then finally, it kind of clicked about all the television stuff and all that I've done. But for whatever reason, took that moment after all those years. It was one little moment. So it's hard you can't fault people for not understanding it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, when I tell people like, oh, I'm going to go to this Comic-Con, they're like, oh, how much is that going to cost you? I'm like, no, they're, and then I'm sitting at a table, talking to people, and I'm like, I'm at work.
Right.
Like, this is my work.
Absolutely.
But I love it. I love every minute of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I love also like the nerd community, and I love how everyone is cool now.
Right.
The nerds are cool. We did it. That's what I would go tell my younger self. Like, just keep it up. Just wait it out. You're gonna be cool one day, I promise.
It's gonna be good.
You're gonna be cool. Keep reading The Hobbit. You're okay.
There's this show called The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, you're gonna make it, kid. It's like, it's okay. Keep listening to Riverdance.
Absolutely.
You're gonna it's gonna make sense later.
That's fantastic. I love that. Oh man. So Bonnie has agreed to do a little a cappella singing for us, sitting here in the chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty bold, and I love it. Her voice is killer. You're gonna really enjoy this. She's going to do a snippet of her version of "It Ain't Easy Being Green" by Kermit the Frog.
Darn right.
Or not.
Yeah, we'll just say it's Kermit. Everyone knows it.
Absolutely.
Kermit. It's not that easy being green, having to spend each day the color of the leaves, when I think it could be nicer being red or yellow or plaid or something much more colorful like that. It's not that easy being green. It seems you blend in with so many other ordinary things, and people tend to pass you over 'cause you're not standing out like flashy sparkles on the water or stars in the sky. Should I keep going?
Sure.
But green is the color of spring, and green can be cool and friendly like, and green can be big like an ocean, important like a mountain, or tall like a tree. When green is all there is to be, it could make you wonder why, but why wonder why? Wonder, I am green and it'll do fine. It's beautiful and I think it's what I want to be.
Yay!
Yay! those people.
You know, I really hadn't put that together, but being green is literally about what you said.
Exactly. It's about as I'm singing it, I'm thinking to myself, like singing it to my kid self, going like, "You're enough. You're green," and that's cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I
Way to
love
go,
that.
green child.
Yeah, seriously.
You might want to get that looked at though. Like, there's a cream for that somewhere, or aliens.
So so I just got a private concert by Bonnie Gordon.
Yeah.
You guys, it was for me.
I started low. That was a
You
low
did,
key. I was
you
like,
did, you
it's not that easy. I was like, oh, that's low.
We've been singing that one all day today too.
Yeah.
So you did a great job.
Thank you.
As
Thank you.
expected. And I told you she has a great voice. She really does. A couple of more things before we wrap it up. You just got off a cruise. Tell me about the cruise. What was that?
Oh my gosh. All right, nerds, listen up. There's a cruise called the Joko Cruise. It's a cruise put on every year by Jonathan Colton. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's fantastic. Great musician, songwriter, comedian. And it is basically like a nerdy convention on a cruise ship. And it's so much fun. They have different panels, all kinds of different programming, different theme days, different bands and musical guests. Paul and Storm are always on it. They're phenomenal. This year they had guests like Amy Mann. They had Jim Boja. They had
I love Amy Mann.
Yeah. Oh, she was fantastic too.
Yeah.
She was so cool. I was watching her. I was like, she looks so cool. I want to hug her, but
seriously,
I didn't want to creep her out. They had a great band called Jukebox the Ghost.
Okay.
That I didn't recognize their name, and then they started playing, and I actually recognized some of their music from the radio, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And they did a whole set of Queen as well.
Oh wow.
They put on wigs and costumes and did Queen.
Cool.
It was amazing. But I mean, just music aside, just the community of the people on the boat are amazing, and everyone's wearing costumes. Everyone's dressing up, fun. There's crafts rooms. I got to do a couple of voiceover panels. I did 3 solo concerts. At one of the little like lounge bar stages. It was so much fun, and it's probably one of the most welcoming communities too, because that was my first one that I've done, and now I know why people go every year and never miss it.
Sure.
It was just unbelievable.
That's really cool. So in the future,
much
the
fun.
Joko Cruise.
The Joko Cruise.
Joko.
It stands for Jonathan Colton.
Right,
Joko.
Joko.
Yeah.
It's hard to say Joko.
The Joko Cruise, and they have different guests every year. I know Will Wheaton usually is on it. And his wife Ann Wheaton. I mean, there's so many different guests they have.
Sure.
They had Janet Varney on this year, who's a famous voiceover actor from Korra, the Avatar.
Right.
But everyone was just so great.
Sure. That's fantastic. Well, the final question. This is a big one. And I always say this to all of my guests, week after week.
World peace. That's always the answer.
So not.
Okay. Well.
And if you there is a right answer to this question.
Okay. Well, so the pageant. I failed the pageant. So,
if you get this wrong, I don't know that we can be friends.
Oh no.
You know, this is bigger than Star Trek, bigger than Star Wars.
Wait a minute. What is this? Where am I? Who am I talking to?
What is your favorite Rick Springfield song?
What? Okay.
And you can't say Jesse's Girl.
Why not?
Because it's the one everybody says.
But that's one I've always wanted to parody.
What, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to know what the parody would be.
Well, I wouldn't do it out of respect for. Okay, so, it would basically be like if being a woman with a lot of gay friends.
Yes.
I would change the words to where, like, say, okay, let's say
this is a family-friendly show.
Oh no. Okay, let's say you were my gay best friend, and I'd be like, Buddy is a friend.
Okay.
Yeah, he's always been a good friend of mine. Lately something's changed and it's hard to describe. Buddy doesn't like girls, but I want to make him, something like that. Like, I wish that I was Buddy's girl.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think every girl in the world needs to sing that. I wish that I was Buddy's girl.
Where can I find a straight guy like that?
Yeah. Right? That
See?
needs to be it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay,
I've always wanted to do that, but out of respect for my fabulous men in my life, they were just like, don't do that. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fair.
Okay, so other Rick Springfield songs?
I always think of music that I parody.
Of course.
So I'm like, Well, obviously we can't be friends. This has been lovely. I can't think of
Thank you
any
so
other...
much.
No, seriously though, I need to.
Like hard to hold and things of that nature come up a lot. That's the one that comes up a lot.
That
Because
one's okay.
you sang it,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you off the hook with Jesse's.
Okay.
Because you sang it.
Okay.
If you had not,
Do you have other artists that you need like
It
a
was
top?
parody.
it was a parody.
Yeah. Technically,
And she clearly knows the song.
yeah.
So I'm gonna let you off the hook.
Okay.
But barely.
Okay. And if you said like, I don't know,
The other one would be Barry Manilow.
Barry Manilow,
Yeah, what's your favorite?
and you can't say Copacabana.
If you want to, I don't mind saying that one because it's a great song. It's a great song.
Yeah.
But you know, there are so many other better ones.
Yeah. Because the only reason why I know that one so well too is because of course we were on a road trip once and I saw the Taco Cabana and so it was like,
yes.
like the whole road trip at the Taco Cabana, the place where you eat tacos in your hand at the Taco Cabana. Yeah.
See, I know the age of my friends, but based on the name of my dog.
Okay.
Because Lola, and so
Lola.
friends of a certain age sing what you're singing.
Lola.
Friends of a different age start into Copacabana. Her name was Lola.
Ah.
So it's different
See,
age groups.
in
that
my
sing that.
in my brain, I think of the Taco Cabana. So Lola was not in my
Indeed, right,
version.
right.
So obviously I need to learn real music and not the fake ones in my head. If you would say like Bruce Springsteen, I would say Dancer in the Dark because that's my Jurassic Park song.
Fair enough.
Of course. You know? Yeah.
All right.
Embers required. It's found in fossilized tree bark. I'm feeling inspired.
Oh my God.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
I don't even know what to make of that.
Look, man, this is what you've done. You've opened up
you need to pick up where Weird Al when he decides to call it a day. You should pick it
I was
up.
about to say where he left off. I was like, he's still going.
Yeah, when he decides to call it a day.
And then maybe Daniel Radcliffe could play me in a biopic.
There you go. See.
Excuse me,
Have you
Daniel
seen?
Radcliffe.
Do you know who the Dan Band is?
Why does that sound familiar?
They've been in a whole lot of movies. It's 4 or 5 guys.
Oh yeah. They like play in all the movies and
Yeah,
stuff.
and it's all female songs. So they
Yeah.
do only Madonna songs and things like that, and they don't change the lyrics or anything, and they do it in a really earnest sort of way. And
Nice.
It's fan-freaking-tastic.
Okay.
You should check them out.
I'm
because I
going
think you'll
to. The
really
Dan
appreciate-
Band.
The Dan Band, yeah.
Awesome.
A friend of mine plays bass did play bass in that band.
Man.
And they're really
This
really
is the kind of
good.
bands I need to get into.
I know, seriously, man.
Like-
Wow. Well, thank you for being with us tonight.
The Bonnie Band.
We're gonna,
thank you.
the Bonnie Band, yeah.
Yeah.
We have the same initials.
Yeah, BG.
Yeah, we're the Bee Gees.
Oh, why have we not done
That's
this?
because it's taken.
No, we just use the letters. We're the Bee Gees. And we don't even do Bee Gees songs. And
Right.
people will be like, well, this is
Wait,
lame.
this
They're going to come thinking we're a Bee Gee tribute
Yeah,
band.
right.
Because we're the letters,
Yeah.
B and G.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
All right.
Pretty awesome.
You've heard it here first, folks. Copyright 2022. Buddy
it
Gibbons
is.
and Bonnie Gordon, the Bee
The
Gees.
Bee Gees, right. Yeah, I don't think we'll have any issues with that at all.
Honestly, I have the perfect name for an 80s cover band. So if you want to do this,
You sure you
I'm
want to say
ready.
it out loud?
yes.
What?
Copyright 2022. Bonnie Gordon. All rights reserved. Put a QR
Yeah, right.
code here, or like a beep. I thought it'd be so cool to have an 80s band called The Mechanicans. It's mechanical mannequins. The Mechanicans. And then it's all like 80s, and then half the band are mannequins are mannequins that are like moving, and then half the bands are real people, and like we open with Dodo Amigato.
Of course, you have to,
Mr.
yeah.
Yeah, we open with Mr. Roboto, and that way the people don't know who's a real person and who's a mannequin. The Mechanican.
You can't even get it out.
The
That's
Mechanicans.
hilarious.
Tell me that's not the best 80s
It's really
cover
good.
band.
I like it. I like it. Yeah,
Well,
I do.
if this exists already, let me know.
I don't know that
Viewers
it would.
at home.
My favorite 80s cover band that I ever knew of was called the Cheese Brokers.
Those are good.
I
It's
thought
good.
I liked the Cheese Brokers.
I have friends in a band called the Flux Capacitors.
Oh, that's good.
And they're amazing. And they dress up like Back to the Future
You have
characters
to,
and sing the best 80s hits and all nerdy stuff and Ghostbusters. I
fantastic.
sing with them sometimes.
I love it.
When I force myself to.
Right.
I'm like, you can't not let me sing with you. Especially
Wow.
if they do Dance the Magic Dance from Labyrinth.
Of course.
I force my way up and I go,
Wow.
give me the mic. and then security comes after.
Well.
It's fine.
Well, thanks again for
Anyway.
being here. Check her out on IMDb. You get all of her credits. Take a look at the stuff she's done.
Thank you.
She's done so much that you've definitely seen and or heard. New record, Con Artist, will be out sometime this summer. As soon as I get it finished.
Yeah, that's gonna be on him.
Not really.
No, I know.
We're still working.
It's my fault.
It's not anybody's fault. We're working hard on it. It's sounding really good. And today we tracked 2 songs today vocally that sound killer. So you're gonna love that when it comes out. And until next time, I'm Buddy.
I'm Bonnie.
Yeah, you used to be. Are
Buddy
you still?
and Bonnie the Bee Gees.
Buddy and Bonnie the Bee Gees.
Yeah, we're the Bee Gees. Goodbye, everybody. Good night. Goodbye.
All of that. All right, thank you. I do wish that we had considered, the idea of the Bee Gees. That would have been great, right? It's unfortunate that it's taken. Oh, man. So of all the things that she said, what a great guest, right? Bonnie, thank you for being with us. It was so fun having you here. She has been a tremendous addition to my life. Even my wife likes her, and that's saying something. I'm kidding. My wife likes everybody. But my wife does like her, so that's a good thing. We got an awful lot of commentary tonight, but one of the things that I want to say is, talking about the Kermit the Frog song, it's really got a deeper meaning. And when you hear her do it in her real voice on the record, it'll hit you right here. It's tremendously moving because it is what she said, you're enough. It's about that very idea. So many people, especially growing up around this country, have a hard time fitting in, and it's difficult when you don't quite know where your place is, but remembering that you are in fact enough. Being green is a great thing to be. I think that was a tremendous piece of advice. So thank you there, Bonnie. Moving on, let's take a look at some folks that have joined us tonight. Terrence Irvin loves Star Trek Prodigy. Thanks for joining us, Terrence. Yeah, Veronica, Trekkies, Trekkers. It's always been Trekkie, but for some reason, somewhere along the way, so I started hearing them calling themselves, and I'm saying them because I'm more of a Star Wars guy. The Trekkies, I started hearing they wanted to be called Trekkers, and it was just odd. But hey, whatever works. So Trekkie it is. Scooching over. Welcome back. I love your screen name. Welcome back. Lister's Mate 2. Hey, my name is Tony. I'm a good friend of Bonnie's. I know her through the web series community. Oh, that's fantastic. Thanks for joining us tonight. Isn't she great? She's just wonderful. Oh, and here's another one from him. He says here, Bonnie is my hero. The first time I talked to her, we had a long conversation about religion and the paranormal. I got to know her from a web series that she's in that a friend of mine created. That's really cool, man. I totally can see her just having a seat and having a chat about things like that. Absolutely. He continues, I was able to help her get on a few podcasts that he supports, and I'm glad to call her a friend and supporter. Absolutely, as am I. Our Bonnie and me, our mutual friend Brian Oshab introduced us, as I said in the interview, and we just clicked almost immediately there. So she's truly a good human being. Kendall, Carol Channing Claus sings Nickelback. I love it. Bonnie, if you're watching, and I know you are, you pretty much have to do Carol Channing Claus singing Nickelback now. You know that, right? Oh, man. So Terrence Irvin. So I get a little context here. He says, my mom said the same thing till she saw me on the big stage, then it clicked for her. I'm assuming that you're talking about your family not quite getting what it is that you do for a living. It is a real challenge, isn't it? A real struggle to branch out and be something different than the norm for your area, the norm for your family. And there's nothing wrong with the norm. It's just when you stretch out and you go a different way, it's a real challenge. So I'm really glad that has worked out for you. I know it has, Terrence. And in fact, I'm going to be seeing Terrence in just a few days. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. Veronica, when family says you'll never make money from creative pursuits, it does so much damage. Whether it's family, friends, or just the guy on the sidewalk. Yeah, it's a real challenge to be told that and to be told it over and over and over again. It has a really serious impact on you, on your humanity, on your psyche. At least it did mine, and certainly Veronica's as well. So if you do have somebody in your household who's trying to pursue something maybe a little different, maybe to give them some thumbs up. That might be a good way to do it. Encourage them. Whether they shoot for the moon and miss hardly matters. It's all about the shot. So your support means an awful lot to that creative person in your family or your friend group, or even the guy on the sidewalk. Because, maybe the guy on the sidewalk is busking, trying to make his thing happen. Kendall, how you doing tonight, Kendall? Good to see you. Voice work impressions is something in my own toolbox. I do a mean Johnny Carson doing President Reagan. So it's an impression of Johnny Carson doing an impression of President Reagan. You got to send us a video. I mean, that's not real until I see a video. So send us a video. In fact, if you want to send us anything, groovedinerafterdark@gmail.com. Anybody that wants to send us anything, send it. Kendall, get that video, get that phone out and get to videoing. Here's Kendall again saying the Kermit song. Absolutely. 2-year-old me was like, it really isn't easy being green. I know, Kermit. Exactly. Chip, this might be the comment of the night, man. Nerds on a Ship, the lesser-known sequel to Snakes on a Plane. I love it. That's fantastic. That's awesome. Reggie and Charles are having a conversation. Nice to see you scooching over like that one a lot. Too many MF nerds on this MF ship. That's really funny. Oh, man. Chip, Affair of the Heart. That would be the only correct answer for what's your favorite Rick Springfield song. Absolutely. And then he said, wow, I'm thinking that's about Bonnie singing because she just did that sitting there, right? You always think of the Kinks' Lola when you hear about my dog. Is that what you're talking about there, Kendall? I wonder what my son thinks about all this craziness. Because I could have named him Lola. That would have been interesting. The Mechanicans. Yeah, we should trademark that. Absolutely. Thanks, Bonnie. That's really funny. She's already working on it. She says, there it is. There's Bonnie saying Carol Claus sings Nickelback. Title of the album, This Is How You Remind Me of Nickelback. I like it. Let's go with it. Oh, that's really good. Oh, thanks, Renee, for being here after being a guest just a couple of weeks ago. We have had a great time tonight. We have a few little announcements before we go. First up, what is this madness I have in my hands? It's an autographed drumhead from every guest from Season 2 of Groove Diner After Dark. Everybody. Even some people that you haven't seen on camera yet. That's right. At the end of the season, the very final episode, we're going to give this away to one live viewer. We'll fill you in. Stay tuned. We're going to tell you how to register and enter and win this thing. It's going to be, I don't know if it's ever going to be valuable, but it's certainly going to be collectible. This is amazing drumhead. Lots and lots of signatures. So you're going to absolutely want to enter to win this one. It's freaking fantastic that everybody's been doing this. Yeah, Reggie, this would look great in your studio, wouldn't it? I agree. I think I need to get one for my studio. What a good idea. Second, I wanted to tell you guys on the merchandise store, we have a new t-shirt. Brand new design, a new logo. No, that's the wrong thing. A new slogan. The slogan, right, Eli? There it is. He's put it up on the show. That's the new one right there. Do you groove? You should. Everybody should groove. You can get a sweatshirt, hoodie, t-shirt. We even have a really funky, kind of trippy, psychedelic sideways t-shirt. Pretty cool, actually. So we have the Do You Groove shirts. Be sure that you go over there and take a look at those. We appreciate you guys buying the merchandise. It really helps support us here with everything we're trying to do, making this a lot of fun for everybody. Eli, there was something else I was supposed to tell them about. What was it?
Where are you going?
Oh, that's right. Yes. So, for the next couple of weeks, I am going to be on the road. I will be on the East Coast of the U.S., doing my thing over there for the next couple of weeks. And I will not be here in studio. So what we're going to do, instead of having a full-blown Groove Diner episode for you, we're going to have Groove Diner to go. Be sure to tune in next week at the normal time. And we're going to have just a little fun, playing around, getting some really fun things happening. Maybe a little less formal, a little less perfect, and a whole lot of fun. We're going to really enjoy it a lot. It's just going to be me. Eli's not going to be there. I'm actually going to be at Terrence Irvin's wedding. So that's where I'll be over the next couple of Mondays. Be sure you tune in. You're going to have fun if you do, I promise. It's absolutely worth your time to tune in. All right, so until then, we'll see you next week, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. See you next time.